Good morning. We are here today with Calien Lewis, and she is soon to be upon her retirement, so we thought we would get a few words and thoughts from her to preserve for the IOLTA community forever. So first of all, thank you for your willingness to talk with us. So let's just open it up. Looking at your 16-year career with Maine Bar Foundation and the IOLTA community, what are some thoughts you have as you look back on this illustrious career?
Illustrious. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but thank you for the opportunity to share observations for what they're worth. I think the change has been tremendous in certainly all of aspects of legal services, but I think especially in the IOLTA world, because when I came in, we were riding the wave up of increases in interest rates, new comparability rules. It looked like sky was the limit. And then the wheels really came off. So for Maine, and I think some of the other IOLTA organizations, we've moved from watching IOLTA roll in and figuring out ways to spend it to figuring out how we're going to raise revenues for legal aid. And that has been a major sea change in my end of the IOLTA work, and I think probably for others in the community. Most of our boards were geared for giving it away and enjoying the prestige of that process, and now are having to turn themselves into fundraisers.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talk a lot about the IOLTA community, and it truly is a family, and we see each other two times a year, maybe more if we get to visit personally, but reflect upon that a little bit, if you will.
Well, it's been a godsend to a program like mine to be able to come to these meetings and reach out to those who have more expertise, to come to the training sessions that are devised by the committee, have both given us tools that we didn't have in Maine. It's reinforced our good ideas and helped head off at the pass some not so good ones, because people weren't just listening to what Calien had to say or what others in Maine had to say. They had a national touchstone. And people reaching out in a mentor system, which, by the way, we had for a while. I don't know if that's still in place or not. My getting to know people like Jane Curran and Linda Rexer and Jane Terrell, who had experience and expertise, who I could turn to, because there's no one else in Maine really who does this work, has been really the difference in what we've been able to do in Maine.
Well, speaking of community, do you have any words of wisdom for those of us who are sticking around for a little bit longer?
Well, I don't know about those of you who are sticking around. One concern I have, and I think those of you who are still here can keep an eye on this, increasingly as some of us age out, significant numbers of us, I think, who came into IOLTA work from legal services or the Great Society, if anybody remembers that. I'm seeing now that more and more IOLTA directors and foundation directors are being hired from the business sector, from the nonprofit administration sector, and my concern about that is a loss of the passion for the work. I guess if I had words to any incoming folks or the planning session, keep us connected to the work in the trenches, because if we lose that connection, I think we lose the passion and really the ability to fundraise and do the good works in the way that we could be able to do it if we knew what was going on in the trenches and shared the passion with our legal service providers.
Yesterday, you did a roundtable that was, I think, entitled Reflections.
Right.
Any moments from that you would like to share?
We had an interesting conversation from a couple of folks who were concerned that they were having trouble recruiting board members, that people were concerned about their exposure to liability and so forth and so on. And I think it's a variation on this point I just made, and I think you need to find board members and take them to the field, take them to the providers, take them to district court, so they get a sense for what it is the people we're working for are up against on a daily basis. And I think if you can recruit board members who care about the issues, or once you have them, if they're appointed by somebody else, as they sometimes are, take them out into the field. And then I think the other obligation we have, and I think probably the new EDs may be a little better than some of us used to be about that, and that is a state-of-the-art organization, term limits, standardized procedures, and getting us all tidied up structurally. Some of us may have been a little slow to do that well, and I think we've learned, and I think the newer crew have that aspect under their belts. I share that with anyone who asks me. The IOLTA organization has to be a state-of-the-art nonprofit organization, but it also has to care about the issues.
Very good. What are you going to do upon your retirement? Big plans?
Well, I'm going to sit for a while and stare into space because I haven't done much of that in the last 16 years. I got my theater degree. I think you mentioned that. I'm going to do some volunteer work. I'm sure I'm not going to be paid to paint scenery at the local theater company. I am the dramaturg for the local opera company. I'm going to do more of that sort of thing. And then I'm hopeful that there will be a day when I can be useful to the IOLTA community, either locally through our local providers or maybe even NAIP if you get around to saying, gee, you know, we could use one of the old guard to come and talk about things or send off to the, you know, out back to share some thoughts. And I would be more than happy to do some of that kind of work in the future if the opportunity presents itself.
Oh, well, I don't think we're going to let you get too far.
Well, and as I said, I've threatened to come back and see that video when it's done.
Well, and I did want to touch on that because I think it's fitting that you've spent so much time through the Joint Communications Committee, you know, kind of a capstone is working on the IOLTA.org.
Right.
History video, and I think that's a nice parallel as you know move into the next adventure for you. Yeah.
So as the footnote, because I think it does get lost, I have been on the NAIP board. I was actually secretary for a while with a few bright ideas that never went anywhere, but you know, another day for that. And on the planning committee for these meetings, which I really enjoyed. The communication committee has been a great experience for me too. So. I can't say enough about my NAIP connections, and I will miss them. And as I said, I hope that maybe in its future, NAIP can find a way to put some of its old guard to work. You know, we don't cost a lot. Just pay our room and board and fly us around to exotic places like Dallas, and you know, we're happy to be helpful.
Well, no doubt you've been a valued part of the community, and I'm tickled to know that it's just a retirement from the day job part of it, but definitely you're still a part of this community, and we are appreciative for all that you've done, and look forward to connecting with you in the next adventure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.